A competitive market is one where there are numerous producers that compete with one another in hopes to provide goods and services we as consumers want and need. In other words, not one single producer can dictate the market. Also, like producers, not one consumer can dictate the market either. This concept is also true where price and quantity of goods are concerned. One producer and one consumer can't decide the price of goods or decide the quantity that will be produced.
What constitutes a competitive market? Number of buyers and sellers, products, barriers to entry, impacts of increase in individual supply, impacts of increase in individual demand, elastic demand curve, and elastic supply curve. Competitive will emerge under certain circumstances, including the profit motive, diminishability of private goods, rivalry, excludability, positive marginal cost, ability to charge, no informational failure, no time lags, no externalities, property rights, and incentives for entrepreneurs. The concept of perfect competition applies when there are many producers and consumers in the market and no single company can influence the pricing. A perfect competitive market has the following characteristics. There are many buyers and sellers in the market. Each company makes a similar product. Buyers and sellers have access to perfect information about price, and there are no transaction costs. How does supply and demand affect Uber and Lyft prices? They do by surge pricing, the time, place, and where it's busy, and whether or not there is enough Ubers to keep up with the demand, and stats to support. Uber services as a competitive market. Everyone Uber thinks is competition. Ride-sharing companies, bikes, and scooter companies. Anonymous vehicle researchers, example Tesla, delivery companies such as DoorDash, and freight companies.
SpaceX and Lyft combined. Every day, 15 million rides are taken across 600 cities in 78 countries, everywhere from the southern tip of Africa to the tiny town of Gridley, California, home of the Red Suspenders Festival. I'm sure you're familiar. Uber is so successful because it's so convenient. Open the app and choose a ride, standard or luxury, or in India, rickshaw, soon even flying taxi. Afterwards, you rate the driver and they rate you.
Uber's surge pricing is a classic supply and demand problem. As Uber explains it, with surge pricing, Uber rates increase to get more cars on the road and ensure reliability during the busiest times. When enough cars are on the road, prices go back down to normal levels. By simply increasing the price, Uber encourages more drivers to get on the road till there is enough supply. Many people have protested against this since it exploits people during emergencies or holidays. However, this is not very different from an airline or hotel increasing prices as seats or rooms fill up. When the demand for Uber rides surpasses the supply of vehicles, surge pricing occurs at a certain multiplier such as 2 times or 3 times. Surge pricing tends to happen when there is an unexpected change in weather such as thunderstorms or on a day of celebration like St. Patrick's Day. Uber said that the surge pricing generally has 2 effects. Users that are not in a rush for a ride often wait until the surge pricing drops, and Uber drivers typically head over to neighborhoods that have surge pricing. Due to these changes in supply and demand, the wait times and pricing eventually drop again. Surge pricing has been one of Uber's most disliked features by its users. Sometimes, users will see surge pricing go up as high as 9.9 times the price after certain holidays. Supply elasticity makes the surge work. When price is low, there are few drivers. However, when demand increases, like a rubber band, the number of drivers stretches. As economists, we can see it all through a traditional demand and supply graph. Let's say that it starts to snow. We have a shift in demand from ride-hailing services that takes the demand curve higher on the supply curve. The result is an increase in quantity supplied, as seen by the graphs shown.
Uber successfully uses price discrimination because they are able to control their supply, prevent resale from one buyer to another, and hold differences in price elasticities in different markets. From the Uber X at the lower end to the Uber LUX, Uber can successfully price discriminate at 5 price levels. Price discrimination occurs when a firm sells a good or service to different buyers at 2 or more different prices, for reasons not necessarily associated with cost. price discrimination results in higher revenue for the firm. For example, when you are paying for a seat on an airline, the airline offers different prices for different seats in various locations. Because some people are willing to pay more, the airline taps the extra consumer surplus by charging them more and providing a slightly different service. However, in economics, there is no difference between a seat in business class or economy. They both offer the same type of service, taking people from one location to another. Even though Uber and Lyft are classified as a competitive market, for all the reasons we have presented, there is the lurking variable that their market is considered as unsustainable. It is sought to be unsustainable because it is a two-sided market. It is a two-sided market because the driving services offer a ride-sharing industry. This industry influences no profits because there are low barriers to entry, and the switching costs are low on both the supply side, which is the drivers, and the demand side, which is the consumers.